Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse podcast, where women over 50 take a fresh look at living, toss out tired stereotypes, and say a big heck yes to what's next. I'm your host, Sandy Parker, and around here, we challenge limitations, rewrite the story on aging, and reclaim our power, pleasure, and purpose. Why? Our next years are not about a decline. They are our big reveal. Sandy Parker Martinez with the Pink Lady Posse podcast. And I am here with Kathy York, who is the Queen of Non-Overwhelm. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Very nice introduction. Thanks.
And what's ironic is I'm in overwhelm. Tech is overwhelming. The week is overwhelming. And it's Christmas week. And I'm like, Kathy, there's no better time for us to be having this conversation.
And I've had a bad week. So everybody just be nice.
Yeah. And here's the deal. Things are the way they are, and they're not the way they're not. I am the way I am, and I'm not the way I'm not.
I'm stealing that.
And anytime I try to make it different than it is, I end up in a bad spot. So I want Kathy to tell us her approach to non-overwhelm. What does that really mean? What is overwhelm and what is non-overwhelm?
Okay. Well, let me give you a little bit of history. In my 20s now, trying to help the world revolve almost killed me, literally. I had specialists now telling me, okay, you have no red blood, really. You have no white blood. That's why you're so tired all the time. That's why everything, it says we have no idea what's going on. Now, these are specialists and they are really good doctors. That's how badly I had run myself down. I was teaching biology at the time, and there's a lot going on with that and a lot going on in the school system, and it was a mess, but I'm still trying to do it all. So finally what they did was they slapped me in bed for 3 weeks, gave me, if anyone has ever had those huge, I call them the huge honkin' iron pills. They're about this big around, and I had to take those several times a day. I was able to get up to go to the table and eat a meal that someone else had cooked. And I was allowed to take a shower every day, and that was it. Now for 3 weeks, that's rough. But let me tell you what my last doctor told me, the one who slapped me in bed and the world still revolved without me. He sat on the stool and he looked me right in the eye and he said, I need you to learn a little word. It's very easy to pronounce. It's no. And if you don't learn that word, it's going to kill you because we can't fix this. And if being in bed for 3 weeks and these meds don't fix it, I don't know what to tell you. That's how bad a shape I was in my 20s, Sandy.
Are you an overachiever?
Oh, no. I think I'm the type AAA plus. I want to do it all. I love to do it all, and I know how to do it all, and don't get in my way because I can get it done. And I tell you what, from my 20s till now, and I'm in my 70s, big difference. Now, where the non-overwhelm came from, partly it was that because I was so overwhelmed. I was doing too much. And just like I talk about in my book, I didn't learn how to say no until that doctor told me he's going to kill me. But what I finally realized, especially when I started in the entrepreneurial thing, started realizing, if you get some ducks in rows and get ahead on stuff, and that's the hardest part because it took a long time to get to that point, to get ahead on things. If you can get the ducks in rows, get ahead, and then you have breathing room, you'll be in a lot better shape. Well, when I started my business, it was kind of difficult because there was really nobody to help the entrepreneur. So I had to figure it all out on my own. And then I started helping other people. And for several years, people were saying, well, this is really great. You need to put this in a book. And I kept hearing that over and over again, because what I was doing was I was helping non-overwhelm their lives. Because now I'm out there like a preacher, I'm preaching it now because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. I never thought of it. And they were kind of like, oh, and I said, well, I never thought of it either until I did. So all these steps now that I put it in my business, I put it in my life, and it's really helping people. And I'm thrilled about that. So that's why I called my book Welcome to Non-Overwhelm. And because it's an art and it takes some time to get there. It took me years to do it, but I don't want everybody else to have to take years.
Do you see patterns of, besides not saying no, do you see patterns that create overwhelm?
I tell you what, not saying no is pretty big. Let me tell you why. I had a student, now I was teaching biology, so I was teaching juniors, seniors. I had a student ask me one day, well, what should I take in college? And I was shocked. You're a junior. Why do you not know this? So I was kidding with him and I said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, well, my dad, that's not what I asked you. What do you want to do? What you have to get up every day and go to work at that job. Well, then it's like, well, my dad won't pay for my college. Nobody has to pay your college. Nobody owes you college education or a wedding or a car or anything. And I realized later when I started doing this non-overwhelm thing and people were telling me the biggest problem they have with getting overwhelmed is not being able to reach their goals. They can put them down all the time. This time of year, it might be, I'm not going to let so-and-so upset me at Christmas dinner, or I'm not going to, this, that, or the other thing. But the thing is, you can't get there if you can't figure out a way to actually work through it and get to the point where you're not going to let that happen. And that is rough. That is the hard part. But the main thing is, do you want to do whatever it is? And that's the biggest problem I see with my clients. They let everything get out of kilter. They're doing all this stuff because they've listened to the people. This happens so much at church. They listen to the people.
I know.
They listen to the folks who say, but nobody else can do this. And let me tell you how I finally got out of that one. And you may tick some people off if you say this, but somebody said that to me one time about something. And I said, so you're telling me if I get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow, that this is not going to get done? No. The biggest thing, and it all comes down to no. No, Dad, I'm going to do what I want to do in college, or whatever. That there's a lot to that no. And it's hard because people get mad at you when you do that.
Well, I told you that I was bringing a little bit of potential overwhelm to our conversation because I have 3 daughters. 2 of the 3 daughters have decided they'd really like to do Christmas differently. And the daughter in the middle is not at all interested in doing it differently. So we have been spending our time working around the unmovable object or person, trying to accommodate. And you know what? We just said we cannot make it perfect.
Yeah, don't even go there. Yeah.
We have a family in Houston, a family in Chicago, grandkids here, grandkids there. And we're just going to have to build we came up with an abbreviation, our beautiful holiday experience, our BHE, saying yes to what we can say yes to and letting a no live there. We want to fix it. We want to go make it all perfect.
Right.
We cannot do that.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I was going to say, especially this time of year, nothing in our lives, unless we're a surgeon, nothing in our lives needs to be perfect because we're recording this around Christmas. Your house does not have to be perfect. Your tree, We don't even have a tree up. We have no decorations this year. We have a beautiful card with a nativity scene on our mantle right next to an artisan block that says there's only one reason for this season.
Oh,
That's it. Guess what we've done? We have non-overwhelmed Christmas. We've got too much going on right now. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. And that's part of the no. Say no if you don't want to do it. And you guys have done that. And good for you. Unfortunately, it took you a little time to get there.
the change was kind of radical.
Yeah.
It was a radical change, which change is not easy. And it was sort of quick. We could have made it a little more methodical.
Yeah.
Would have been a little more helpful to the whole scenario.
Right.
Plus, we have 2 dogs in the store. I mean, it gets really crazy.
It gets a mess. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that is just occurring to me based on what you just said is the holiday is really for whatever you want in the holiday, for whatever people you want in the holiday,
Yes.
for whatever experience you want with those people in the holiday.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you're serving, what you're showing, what you're giving, what you're spending. I mean, the whole thing has to just settle down.
And Ron and I did that. We were married the day after Thanksgiving in the year we were married, way back in 1984. And we had already told the family, and we reiterated it later that week, said, remember, on Christmas Day, nobody comes in and we're not going anywhere. Radical shift with his family. My family understood it. We're an aviation family and it's just a mess. It's a lot of work. We don't go anywhere on Christmas Day. Nobody comes in on Christmas Day. And that has made a huge difference. It's one day when we know there's nothing we have to do except what we want to do. It's very peaceful.
So here we are. I'm listening to this episode. It's Christmas week. Things are about to go how they're going to go. Do you have tips or tricks beyond saying no? Like, I feel my blood pressure kind of going, and you want to just chill out, but sometimes that blood pressure doesn't come down quite that fast.
Right.
Do you have any coping tips or what would you recommend? How do you
First of
beat
all,
that?
I was going to, first of all, think through the scenarios of what could happen. If Uncle so-and-so is there, what could happen? Because it's going to happen because it happens every Christmas. In fact, it probably happens every Thanksgiving. And then figure out how you're not even going to engage. You don't have to engage. It doesn't matter what the other person says. You don't have to say something back if that's an issue. But an awful lot of it is just don't expect perfection anywhere. Don't expect perfection from if you're doing the dinner or whatever. Just remember, although you wanted to do this wonderful thing over here and it didn't work, nobody else knows that. They don't know about that wonderful thing over here. So don't say anything about it. And that's an awful lot of it too. And that's really hard because you're thinking, oh, it would be so much better if. Nobody cares. Really, honestly, nobody cares.
Well, the other thing that I have to remember for myself is perfection isn't going to be here with me either, right? Like in this situation with daughters and dogs and meals and Airbnb and all that, I'm sure I didn't do everything right in communicating with everybody. And if I can let myself off the hook for being the fixer of everything, and just go, you know what? My husband and I have this funny thing where I go, you know what? I'm imperfect. And he goes, no. I'm like, I'm imperfect. Almost saying that out loud puts air in the space.
Right.
Like if everybody just said, you know what? I'm imperfect and I'm doing the best I can. But we startle each other with that sometimes. We go, I'm imperfect. It keeps it light, and humor, I think, is a good advantage also.
Right.
So what I heard you say is imagine through the scenarios, play them out, and see yourself not engaging.
You can just smile and walk away.
Yeah. But don't you
And they
think
hate that, but oh well.
the practice of seeing it through and seeing you not engaging kind of gives you a path to follow
Right.
rather being caught by surprise? I love what you said about something that happens every year
Right.
or every.
And let them have it. Okay, so let them win. Then they're happy. It's a hard one.
What did you say?
You know what? And what are they expecting from you? Because the people who are causing all those problems just love doing that. They love tripping people's triggers. So don't let them trip yours. Just say, okay, and turn around and walk off. They may follow you, but
Well, my husband's a pastor. And when I very first met him, he's also ex military, 30 years in the military. And I said,
well,
how?
thank you for that. We're a military family too, retired.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, thank
great.
you for
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
And he'll say, I have what you call a non anxious presence. So when I come to a situation, I bring a non anxious presence. It's like a leveling agent. And then, so when, like the church, for example, when he's present, shenanigans don't really go on because that non anxious presence is really a gift you give the environment.
Right.
Now, did you say you're a pilot?
Did I say what?
You're a pilot.
No, my husband's a pilot. We're an
Oh, I see.
aviation family, but which is one reason we did what we did around Christmas because we knew because his job was so difficult. He was a mechanic at the time, so it was really difficult. But we knew it was going to be very difficult having any time because of our schedules, and Christmas was going to be it.
Well, what made me think of that is a pilot flying doesn't really need to bring a lot of panic to the situation,
Right.
right? Like things are going to happen, courses are going to be changed, corrected. There's course correction. But having that non anxious presence, I
Yeah.
don't know if they're taught that or if it's just the operational systems are so complete that, like you sort of said that a little bit, right? Like having the methodology in place gives you
Right.
breathing room. Is that what you said?
Well, and the thing is, especially with someone who's an engineer or a pilot or anything along those lines, and it's usually guys, I've found most often, they're just very compartmentalized. This works, this works, this works. Oops, that didn't work. Okay, let's go back. He doesn't fly commercially, but one time when we were flying, all of a sudden it's boom. It's like, okay, what's going on? I just sat there and he figured it out. So, I mean, things like that happen. But when it comes to, especially to Christmas or any kind of a celebration, if we haven't said no to it, we can say no. We don't have to show up on Christmas Day. Oh, I know somebody just made it.
I
You
know.
do
It's
not
like,
have to
what?
show up. We do not. It's our fault if we show up and there's a problem and we always know there's going to be a problem. That's on us, no matter what it's going to cause with somebody else. And it can cause all kinds of trouble.
Well, I like the idea of, I'm going to bring this to my own scenario. I'm going to say I am flying a plane that is my beautiful holiday experience. And there's no reason to have a panic about this bump or that bump if I just maintain a non anxious presence and keep my wits about me. What a contribution to the space, to the
Yeah.
other people can I be if I bring that?
Yes. Well, and I have found the people who are the most obnoxious in a situation when you're in a big group of people, just let them win. And they'll leave you alone. It's
Just
terrible.
let
I
'em
hate
win.
doing it. I hate doing it, but fine.
Well, someone told me yesterday, I was telling them about my family shenanigans, and they said, wow, you have a real sense of allowing people to just be how they are. And I can do that. Yeah. So I'm setting the stage for myself. It's Christmas week. I'm flying the plane of a beautiful holiday experience. There are going to be bumps. I'm imperfect. They're imperfect. And I'm going to allow people to be the way they are and things to go the way they go.
Right. See, now that's huge. Right there. That's huge.
Which one?
It is what it is. I have that on my website. People can even download it. It is what it is. And people say, well, every time somebody says that, it's because something bad happened. Yeah, that's right. Usually you're not going to say, oh, that was just wonderful. It is what it is. And that doesn't mean I'm not like this inside, because I'm a type A person. But
Now
you
you're
don't
still
have to do these things.
You're still a type A.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a firstborn, and I'm not only a firstborn, but I'm an only child.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah.
You got them all.
I'm not a spoiled only child, I'll guarantee you that. But we're around the adults all the time, and we learn, and we just, oh, let's get this done and let's get that done. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a beautiful week to encounter you, Queen of
Overwhelm.
Overwhelm. I want to say
Non-overwhelm.
anxious, non-overwhelm. Overwhelm sounds like pouring a teacup and it just got a little too full. Like, oh, I just tilted.
Yeah.
So thank you for the visual, the images that I can take with me into the experience. And tell me now about your book and how you told me how you wrote it. People were saying you should write a book. How
Yeah.
is it going? And then do you offer other services with your book? Tell
Oh,
me
I
about
do.
that.
Yeah. In fact, we have a special right now. If they go to my website and they're in the lower 48 states, it's only for the lower 48 as a special price, and it includes a signed copy of the book and also a link to the ebook. And by the way, these are professionally done. I didn't just slap together some PDFs and here's your PDF. It's a beautiful book. And the publisher is here in town, and they've done a really good job for me. And what I thought would come out of that is that people would work with me because I show people how I set my schedule up. And it looks like it's going to be a business book. But like one of the people said in a comment, this is for everything, whatever you're doing in life. And I thought the main thing was going to be people were going to want help getting their schedule together. And I do that. I do help people with that. But that's where the goals thing came up.
Yeah.
And they were looking for good training on goals and they couldn't find it. So I said, let me look. I couldn't find it. What I found was a bunch of, I just call them charlatans, who were out there, and they would charge you $3,000 or $4,000 and throw some PDFs at you and here, go figure this out yourself. I don't do that. I have one-to-one stuff we can do, and it's over a few weeks, an hour at a time. We work through things. And the whole point is with goals is you have to actually work through it and figure out how you're going to do it. And I have specific steps. And the first question I ask when it comes to goals, and people are shocked, is pretty much the same thing I ask that student. I ask them, is this your goal? And a lot of people do exactly what you just did. Oh, no, I don't want to do this. Then say no. You've got to find, when it's up to you. If it's at work, you can't tell your boss no. But that changed my life. Okay, do I want to do this? And sometimes, people are kind of iffy about when you tell them no, because they're used to being able to push those buttons, and you either come up against, well, we've never done it that way, or we've always done it that way. And I know that with church, you've got to get past that sometimes. So what it's turned into is they find the book, and you can read it in an hour. I should have had a copy here to show you. You can read it in an hour, and lots of good places for notes and all that stuff. But it's just a situation where here are some things that I can help you with, get those ducks in rows. And then if we want to go farther, we can do the training and all that. And I also have a book that takes kind of a 30,000 foot view of the training. It's on my training page too on the website. And it's just a little workbook that I put together. And everything I do, and I do want to let folks know, everything on my website, everything you find from me out on social media, especially LinkedIn. I'm real big on LinkedIn. I really like it. Anything you find from me that is written, I have written it. I have created it. I'm a trained instructor. I love to teach. So now I'm able to teach and to write, put those two together. And I believe those are my gifts. I'm good at both. And I don't say that because, oh, look at Kathy York. No, because everyone has a gift or two. You're good at it and you love to do it. Well, I'm fortunate because I'm able to do what I love every day. And just like when the light comes on with the kid, somebody who has a child and they're explaining something, and all of a sudden it's, oh, and you've gotten through. But the main thing is giving people permission to say no and permission to think, well, do I want to do this? Because the two most important things when it comes to whether or not you're going to do something, do you want to do it? And when it gets messy in the middle and it gets hard, do you love it enough that you're going to get through it? Because if you can't say yes to both of those, when you dump it in the middle, now you've added overwhelm instead of non-overwhelm because, oh, I just can't reach my goals. Oh, I'm just no good. And you start playing those tapes in your head.
Think Pink just started, and Think Pink is a support group of women who help each other meet their goals or weather the storms or endure. It's just so important to have people around you that you respect and respect you and to help you in terms of just live life. I mean, because there is a messy middle.
And somebody who will listen, and if you blow it, they're there when you blow it and say, well, we get it. So now what?
Well, I'm going to put your website and the information in the book in the show notes so people can reach you and find you and get the book. And I think I read you said it's best to get it from you because you can autograph it and then get the book to them. Is that right? Versus going to Amazon?
Right. Yeah. And then what happens with that is when you get the email that says that the order went through, the link will be there for the ebook. Now, if you are in Hawaii, Alaska, or anywhere else in the world, Amazon is the place to go. On my website, it's just kathyyork.com, and then you can click on the training or whatever. On the book page, I have the links for Australia and the UK because that's where most of my readers are that are outside of the US.
Well, Kathy, I want to say thank you so much for joining me Christmas week. I just want to say happy holidays.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy Jesus' birthday. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world, and I will see you in January.
Sounds good.
Mwah. Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.